I have marched on Newt Gingrich's office, and I'm sure that I will probably do it again. But I thought that it was the right thing to have a bipartisan group go out and look at this problem. And the tour started yesterday in Philadelphia. In fact, there's a story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal today on our first trip. It was interesting to me what we found out. One, there's this whole question that is supported by the administration of charter schools and publicly funded charter schools. Mr. Gingrich supports charter schools and vouchers. The administration, and I do not, and I'm not speaking for the administration, I'm saying I agree with their position. I support some publicly funded charter schools. I do not support vouchers. We went to a school yesterday morning in Philadelphia that 3 years ago was one of the failing schools in the city of Philadelphia. It is now the #1 top performing school. It's been transformed into a publicly funded charter school. I read all the literature of why those in charge felt that it worked. I read their analysis. I read their reasons they felt they were able to take a school and turn it around. Same location, same students. But what impressed me was talking to the students. Now you got to remember now, these are the same students that were there 3 years ago flunking. They've not changed parents. They've not changed economic conditions. They've not changed social status. They're the same exact children. Yet they're now outperforming suburban schools. So I asked them, well, what was the difference? They said, one, we felt we were being disciplined, and we had to perform. If we got to fight, we'd be thrown out of the school. If we didn't do our homework, we'd have a demerit. They had to walk around within their name tags, their merits and their demerits. Our parents had to sign a contract for us to come in, which meant that they had to agree to certain participation as parents. And we felt that there was an expectation that we could achieve something rather than being told, I'm going to get paid whether you learn or not. The new bigotry is this whole question of low expectations. It's almost like you are not expected to learn or succeed. So we have a marginal place for you in society. And we almost justify their not excelling, saying, well, it is not their fault, which is really saying they're not. I had a discussion with a very conservative educator who said you must understand that you may be right, there may be a need for more discipline, there may be a need for more accountability of administrators and teachers, but the socioeconomic status of the students and their family breakdown means that they are more than likely not going to succeed anyway. I said, you really believe that? He said, yeah. I said, let me ask you a question. I know a guy who only saw his father 1 month in his life, grew up in different countries. Mother lived here for a little while and had to, at one point he was growing up, get food stamps to feed him and receive public assistance. Given the instability of his life, given the lack of a father in his life, do you think he could succeed? He said, probably not. I said, well, next time in Washington, go by his house. It's at 1,600 people. Schools that don't you allow to continue to duplicate product that does not work and no one can question. So as we do this tour, we're trying to come up with this formula that will deal with reforming education in the public schools, including public charter schools. Before we I leave here, going to Tucson, Arizona, meeting Cambridge, and going on to Alabama. We're going all over the country to come back with this report. I think President Obama is correct that education reform is one of the priorities of our time. Now, President Bush had a challenge in education as well. Some of it was worthy. Some of it I didn't agree with, called No Child Left Behind. The problem with No Child Left Behind is he left the funding behind. They not fund their own initiatives. The issue here now is not funding. Out of the recovery package, there's an additional, this is on top of that, the regular budget, additional $4.3 billion just given to the Department of Education. What I said to Secretary Duncan, and I will speak publicly tonight, is that no school district in the country that is not in a position to show how they're increasing the performance of the students, how they're bringing down the dropout rates, how they are servicing the kids, not the administrators, not the teachers, not the parents, the kids, that they should be given any federal funds. The federal government can use the leverage of federal funds to force about educational reform. In the 60s and during the Civil Rights Movement at that time, Adam Clay Powell, the congressman from Harvard, had what was called a Powell Amendment. And what he did